The moment your eyes open each morning, a silent contest begins for the territory of your mind. There is a specific pressure that tries to settle on your chest before you even get out of bed, whispering about all the things that could go wrong or the problems you haven't solved yet. But thousands of years ago, a man named David discovered a secret rhythm for winning this daily battle, and he recorded it in the words of Psalm 27. This isn't just ancient poetry meant for a Sunday morning. It is a strategic blueprint for maintaining your sanity when the world feels like it's falling apart. To truly understand the power of these words, you have to realize where they came from. David didn't write this while relaxing in a palace with everything going his way. He wrote it while he was a fugitive, hiding in damp caves and running for his life from people he once trusted, when he says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear?" He wasn't just being religious. He was making a radical choice to be brave in the face of actual danger. He was teaching us that your internal stability shouldn't be a reflection of your external circumstances. It should be a reflection of who is standing beside you in the fire. We all know that fear has a very loud voice. It loves to be the first thing you hear, telling you that you aren't enough, that your situation is permanent, or that God has turned his back on you. David's strategy wasn't to try and ignore that voice or pretend it wasn't there. Instead, he chose to speak over it with a much higher truth. When he declared that his heart would not tremble even if an entire army surrounded him, he was practicing spiritual defiance. He was refusing to let the shadows dictate his reality. This is the core secret of Psalm 27. It shifts your focus. The moment you stop staring at the size of your giant and start staring at the size of your God, the grip of anxiety begins to slip. One of the most challenging parts of this journey is the season of waiting. There is a line at the end of this psalm that many of us struggle with. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart. Waiting often feels like wasted time, or like God is being indifferent to our pain. But in the spiritual realm, waiting is never passive. It's like a seed beneath the soil. It looks like nothing is happening, but that is exactly when the roots are getting deep enough to support the harvest that's coming. David spent years in the waiting room of life, being pursued and misunderstood, but that time in the wilderness is what turned him into a king. If you feel like you're in a silent season right now, don't mistake God's stillness for his absence. He is currently building the character and the strength in you that your future blessing will require. Most people think peace is what happens when the storm finally stops. But true biblical peace is what happens when you find rest while the wind is still howling and the waves are still crashing. David found a hiding place in the presence of God that made him feel safe even when his enemies were close enough to touch. God doesn't always take the battle away immediately, but he promised to make you untouchable in the middle of it. Peace isn't found by gaining control over your life. It's found by connecting with the one who is already in control. David could have asked God for anything: revenge on his enemies, more money, or an easier life. But he only asked for one thing, and that was to stay close to God's presence. He knew that if he had the presence of the Creator, everything else would eventually fall into place. When you prioritize your relationship with God over your desire for a solution, your perspective changes. Your heart grows quiet, your mind clears up, and you stop reacting to every little spark of drama. You move from a state of panic to a state of rest. The opening of this psalm is a declaration of war against darkness. Light doesn't need to argue with a shadow to make it disappear. It simply occupies the space. Every day, you have the choice to either feed the shadows of your worries or turn your face toward the light of God's promises. When you start your day by speaking these truths out loud, you are literally reprogramming your spirit to believe again. You are setting the frequency for your entire day. You are reminding yourself that the darkness does not get the final word over your family, your health, or your future. So tomorrow, before you look at your emails or check the news, try speaking the words of Psalm 27 into your room. Let them be your shield and your anthem. Remind yourself that you are never walking through the valley alone. If your soul needed this reminder today, type the verse, "I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living," in the comments below. Let's declare our expectation of God's favor together. And if you want to keep building a spirit that is immune to fear, make sure you subscribe and join us for more messages that will help you stand firm. Remember, the battle belongs to the Lord, and your victory is already secured in His Word.